y'all are so nosy. But guess what? I'm here to let y'all know the tea. So, I'm about to expose myself. Okay, let me go ahead and get right into the story. But first, I'm going to be pretty much giving you guys a step-by-step tutorial. If you're a visual learner, this will be perfect for you because I'm going in detail and showing you all the tools that I'm using. And check the description box below for more details. So let's get right into this story. I was about 19 years old when all of this happened. So this is the story of the first time I got flued out. Okay, yes. And this is before many people even knew about being flued out because I didn't even know what the term was. I just was like, oh, yeah, you want to pay for my ticket? Okay, cool. So, I I met the guy on this dating website. Back then, this was at the beginning of when everyone was starting to get on dating websites, and not too many people knew about it, and some people did. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and give it a try. I think it was probably like one of those tagged or something like that. And I was like, all right, I signed up, created an account, posted a few pictures, and then I ended up seeing this one guy on there, and I was like, oh, he's cute. And so, so I clicked on his page, and then he actually ended up sending me a message first. So, I'm gonna call him Peanut Butter just so y'all don't know. I'm gonna call him Peanut Butter. Okay, so Peanut Butter ended up sending me a message on the app, and I was like curious to see what he was all about. So I clicked on his page and I went scrolling through his pictures, and I was like, oh, he's cute, he's very handsome, but he lives way in Virginia. And yeah, I live way in California. This is probably not gonna work. So I was like, all right, so with that being said, I'll still just message him just to have a little bit of fun. So that's what I did. He pretty much was texting me. I don't remember what he was saying, but he was like, oh, hey, what's up? What's going on, gorgeous? How are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm good. And at the time, I was attending Santa Monica College, going to school, taking a few classes here and there. And he was asking me about my personal life, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I live with my mom at the time and my family and stuff. And he was like, oh, okay. Long story short, I don't know how he ended up asking me. He was like, oh, do you need some money? And I was like, yes. Like, first of all, who is going to turn down some money? Nobody that I know. Okay, so he was like, you need some money? And I was like, yeah, I need some money. He was like, all right, I'm gonna send you some money. And then at the time I was like, I do not believe him. I do not believe that this man who barely even knows me, and keep in mind, y'all, I have probably only known him for about a week at this point. We've been like conversing back and forth, having our little conversation and our little small talk and stuff. And so I didn't really know this man. I didn't know him at all, and he didn't know me either. But he obviously was really interested in getting to know me to the point that he wanted to send me some money. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, you could go ahead and send me some money. And so at this point, I kind of had to think about how I was going to tell my mom, because like I said, I was, around 19, still living with my mom, and I'm over here getting mail at her house and giving people her address. So I'm like, dang, I'm gonna just let it come. And then so I think when it came, either I told her or I just let it come. So when it came, I was like, oh, did I get any mail? And she was like, yeah, you got some mail. She was like, I forgot if, okay, I'm gonna just say it how I think it went. I think I didn't say anything, and then the mail just came. And when it came, I was like, oh, did I get some mail? And I checked the mail, and I was like, oh, this boy ended up sending me, some money. And then so I opened it up, and it was like $200 in there. And so me being, 19, not having no job, not having no type of responsibility, $200 was like a lot for me. So I was like, oh shit, I don't even know him, and he sent me $200. Like, are you serious? So I asked my mom, I was like, oh, this boy ended up sending me some money. Do you need some money? So I gave her some money too. And I don't even remember what I did with the money, but I probably like went shopping or bought some clothes. Honestly, I don't remember what I did with that money. But that wasn't the first time he sent money. He ended up sending money a few times, like through money, like what is it called, Western Union and stuff like that. So he would send me money all the time. I was like, oh, he got money. This dude got money. Okay, cool. Whenever I need something, I'm gonna ask him to send me some money. And so at this point, fast forward, we have known each other for like about a month now, and all the little details and stories that he's been telling me, like, oh, he works at this warehouse, and he has his own apartment, and he he has his own car, and sometimes I will hear him actually working in the warehouse, like moving boxes around and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, he got a job and he seems like responsible and all that. So I guess about a month or two in, I would say probably around 2 months in, he said, do you want me to pay for you a ticket to come out here? And I kind of had always wanted to travel, but I never actually did. So when he offered, I was like, okay, you know what? I feel like I trust him enough that I would be willing to go out there and, meet him. And so I ended up telling him, yeah. And then I told my mom, like, oh, I want to go to Virginia. And of course, she was like, that's a stupid idea. Why would you go out there? You don't even know him. My dad and it was like, no, why would you go out there? You don't know him. But me being me, I went anyway. And so I packed up my stuff. He had already paid for the ticket. And I was just waiting to go to the airport. So I ended up arriving at the airport in Virginia. And when I got there, I was like so nervous to see him, because I was just like, I can't believe I came all the way out here by myself to come see a guy. Like, am I fucking crazy? Like, yeah, I must be a little bit crazy to come all the way out here. But at the same time, I really was actually feeling this guy, and I actually liked him. And I did see him on video chat, and we would talk on the phone all the time. So he was who he was. But I was still, of course, having that in the back of my mind, like, what if he's not really who he says he is? But I'm standing there at the airport, and then there he is. He's wearing this wearing this white shirt with some blue jeans and some white and black Converse shoes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I was like happy at the same time, because I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he's actually who he said he was, and he actually looks exactly like his picture. And then so we gave each other a hug, and we was all like, giddy and smiling and stuff like that. And we ended up leaving the airport and going back to his house, and this is where it all begins. So Peanut Butter did not have his own place. Peanut Butter lived with his mother, okay? And to top it all off, he was a mama's boy, okay? So I'm gonna give you a little insight on my personality. I'm very quiet. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm shy or I don't like to talk. It just means I'm a quiet person, and I do know how to talk, but it's just like, when I feel like there's something important to say. So his mom, she was very, very, very talkative. And I wasn't used to being around somebody who talked like a lot, like nonstop. And so that was kind of like a shocker for me. And then when I found out that he lived with his mom, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you serious right now? And so I was like, so didn't you say that you live with by yourself? You're living with your mom. But at this point, he already paid for my ticket. And I decided to stay at his house. And so he only paid for, oh my God, y'all go. He paid for a one-way ticket. It wasn't a two-way ticket because I guess I had planned on just like staying out there and like kind of moving out there basically. So it was just a one-way ticket. Now I think about this like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anything could have happened. Well, that's why they say young and dumb. Moving on. Anyway, so I ended up staying with him, and he had his own room at least, I guess, and his mom had her room. This peanut butter told me he worked at a warehouse. Guess what? Peanut butter didn't have no job. Peanut butter was on Social Security, and that's how come he was sending me all that money. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. But I was just like, I'm having fun. Like, I'm out here in Virginia and I'm just living life, you know? I'm just doing my own thing. I'm living life. I'm having fun. And Virginia was a totally new experience for me when I first got there. It was just like a nothing but, you know, trees, and it was just kind of country, and it was totally different than the LA life that I was used to living with, big city buildings and, you know, a lot of traffic. But out there it was just like completely different. Like they had rivers and they had lakes and they had huge trees, and like it just was like a whole nother world. And it almost felt like I did time travel because we were like in the 2000s, and you know, people were dressing up in a different kind of way, but back then they were still wearing white t-shirts and baggy pants and stuff. He wasn't that type, but it was just like, wow, this is totally new and different. I can't believe this is how it is, but I loved it at the same time. And so I stayed out there and discovered that this fool was lying the whole time about everything. And I was mad about that, and I told him, I was like, what the fuck? Why would you sit up there and make up that lie? And of course he came up with some weird ass excuse about like, oh, I just really liked you, and if I told you what the truth, you probably wouldn't like me, blah 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 blah. So I was like, whatever. And then on top of that, he was sending me all of his money that he had. He was sending me all the money that he was getting from Social Security. And his mom was like the person who was watching over him and seeing where he was spending his money. She was watching where he would spend his money, but he was like convincing her to let me have all the money. Oh my gosh. And so when I would come out there, he paid for like the last of his money. He was giving it to me. And I was just like, what the fuck? Is he retarded? Like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? You know, and then you sitting over here with no money, like you broke. And so when I came out there, he was broke. He didn't have no money because he spent it on me to come out there. And so, like I said, though, I was, you know, appreciative. I was happy to go out there, but it was like all based on a lie. And of course, like I said, I was young and dumb. So, we would not have no money. And so one day we went to the city. And in order to get to the city, you would have to walk, and I kid you not, 30 minutes to an hour. No, you know what? It wasn't even 30 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. It was an hour walk to the bus stop, y'all. It was 1 hour walking to the bus stop. And he said he had a car. Did he have a car, y'all? No, he didn't have a car. So we were walking to the freaking bus stop. Yes, we were walking an hour, but I got to enjoy the nature and all. I got to enjoy the nature and see the trees and like the different type of animals and stuff and the different type of people that was out there. And of course they had their accents, so it all sounds pretty. You could tell like I wasn't from there because the way that I was talking. So that day we ended up walking to the bus stop and oh, it was so far. Oh my gosh, it was so far. So we ended up taking the bus and going to the city. And we did get to, explore Gettysburg, I believe that was, and I got to see the Supreme Court. I got to see a lot of stuff. He was like a really nice person at the end of the day. He really was like a nice person, although he had his little issues and yeah, but he was like a really good tour guide. He was a good tour guide. So we ended up going and seeing all those different sites and stuff. And like I said, he didn't have no money. So we went to the city and we went to this plasma donation center. And that was my first time ever donating plasma. I didn't even know that people did stuff like that, but they were donating plasma. And yeah, so I decided like, okay, double the money. He do it and I do it too. So I went and donated plasma. And after the fact, they did give me like some type of snacks and stuff and some water. But I guess my body reacted negatively to the fact of me getting rid of the plasma that was in my body. And I almost like fainted. And so I like said, oh yeah, I'll probably would never do this again. And so I ended up being okay. And then we ended up like going and exploring. And so, y'all, I ended up staying in Virginia for like a month, I believe. I must have really enjoyed it. Like I was really enjoying it. And the people there are so friendly. But of course, if you go to the wrong side, you'll see a different side of Virginia, but I didn't go on that side. So, but the people in the neighborhood that I was in, they were so nice and like very friendly. It was so easy to make friends. Like here in California, everybody is just so stuck up and like they're like, in their own world, they selfish and think about they self. But over there, it was just like, wow, these people are really friendly. When you walk past them, they smile and they wave and they like, hi, good morning or good afternoon. And like they be asking you if you need anything or like if there's anything that you would need like for your house, and they will bring it over. And it was just like, it was very, I want to say Southern hospitality, but yeah, it was just really, really nice to experience something like that. And so another time while I was out there, we ended up deciding to take a mega bus to New York and then Washington, D.C. And so I'll tell y'all about Washington, D.C. first. So Virginia, Washington, D.C., and Maryland are all next to each other. So they call it the DMV. And it's like all super close. So it wasn't super far to travel. So we ended up taking a train to Washington, D.C. And that was my first time ever going to Washington, D.C. And I was just so amazed, like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I am actually out here in Washington, D.C. It looks so beautiful. And it was very hot and a little bit humid. And I got to see the White House. I got to see so many amazing buildings. Like I got to see the Capitol. I got to see the the National Monument, and all these different museums. And it was just like, it was breathtaking. And to be there with somebody that I was actually, dating, and it was just really cool to experience that. And I pretty much ended up after that we ended up going to meet with one of his uncles. And his uncle was of course a lot older, and it was me, Peanut Butter, his mom, and his uncle. And so we were supposed to be spending the night at one of his uncle's girlfriend's house. So, long story short, this fool had us walking around, and I am not lying. He had us walking around all night, like gaslighting us. Like, are you kidding me? He was like, yeah, she's gonna call us. So when she calls us, until she calls us, we could just like walk around and explore the city, go get food and stuff like that. And he was just like, keep on saying, oh yeah, she haven't called yet. Let's give her some more time. Next thing you know, it's like midnight, and we just walking around the city. Y'all, I was skinny as hell. I was skinny. Um, and so we was just like walking around, and like 2 o'clock comes and she hasn't called. And me, I'm just really enjoying everything. Like, I was with people who I trusted. So I was cool. I was just like, damn, okay, we just walking around. And then we finally ended up walking to this huge, and I'm not kidding, it was so big. Like, I don't even think I could still fathom how big this house was. Like, it was so big. And I don't think I've ever seen a house that big. But she finally ended up calling. She was like, okay, you guys could come over. And so we went inside the house, and it was so many rooms inside that house, but it was dark too, so I couldn't really see. And so we did eventually end up going over there. It was like 3 o'clock. Honestly, I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And we ended up going over there, and she ended up letting us stay there overnight. I don't know who she was or what she did, but that house was huge. And so the next morning we woke up and we left and we went on about our business. And then I'll move on to the New York story. We took the mega bus all the way to New York, and I was also my first time going to New York and seeing like Times Square. I was just like so infatuated to see how all the smoke was coming up out the ground. Like, I thought that was just on TV. Like, I'm thinking like, oh, this just that Ninja Turtle type of stuff. But no, it was like real life. And I was just like, oh my God, I am in New York. I am so happy. And I was just having so much fun. So within that 1 month, I was able to go to Washington, D.C. I was able to go to New York, and of course, Virginia. Even though Peanut Butter had lied and, told me all these stories about how he worked in a warehouse, and he had his own car, and he had his own house. Sometimes people lie about certain things to enhance who they are, because they don't really accept who they are. And it's just kind of sad sometimes, because you should always love and accept who you are. And like, he actually turned out to be a really good guy, and we ended up dating for like 5 years. And I would go out there and stay and visit him, and he would come out to California and stay with me, and we would just like, go back and forth and travel a lot. And of course, he always paid for my ticket, and it was just like an amazing experience. So for the young people, I would tell you guys to make sure you're always careful. Make sure you know them enough, but you could never be too careful, because sometimes, people deceive you and they lie. And if you're ever in that situation, I probably would just recommend that you stay at the airport and contact your family, and maybe have somebody pay for your ticket, or always have a way to be able to pay for your ticket back home, because that's just probably not a smart decision. But you only live once, and I guess I definitely thank God that I'm still alive to this day, and that he turned out to be who he said he was. So that's a hell of an experience. So let's go ahead and get into this video right here. I am almost done. So what you guys see me doing here is pretty much spreading in the foundation over my skin. I've already prepped my eyebrows. That's one of the first things you want to do is start with your eyebrows, and then put the concealer, and the concealer will lead the way for your eyeshadow on your eyelashes. I mean on your eyes. So with your eyeshadow, you can just play around with it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I did not expect that I was gonna be doing this type of style on my eyes, but I just went along with it and just got creative. You don't have to be, standard and keep it the same way that you see everybody doing it. Come make it like your own, and that's what makes you stand out a lot more than, something else, and you'll be proud of your design that you made. So I really love the way that my eyeshadow turned out. After that, of course, as you guys saw, I will put on the foundation, and make sure that you test it on your hand before you put it on your face, because you don't want it to be either too light for your skin color or too dark. And so I had to play around and learn how to purchase foundation. Sometimes in the stores they will have it where you can test it out on your skin before you buy it, like especially at Target. I do believe this is where I got mine from. A lot of these products were from either the regular beauty supply store near my house, or from Walmart or Target. And where I'm at right now, I'm putting concealer for highlight. So I'm just putting these little cute triangles just to make it stand out, I guess, and make it go with the shape of my face. So I'm gonna take the angle brush and blend it out. So I decided that I wanted to contour my face and use the dark color, but it didn't even come out the way that I actually wanted it to. So I ended up going into the palette, the color palette, and using one of those to draw a line and define my face the way that I actually needed it to. And it came out good. When applying eyelashes, all you have to do is cut the ends to make sure that it matches the length of your eyes, and then apply the glue to the same length. Make sure you apply it and hold it on there, because if you don't, it will come off. And also allow it the time to dry. Me, I actually put these on the opposite eye because I wanted to see how it would look. And they actually turned out beautiful. So these will definitely enhance your makeup look that you're going for.